We hear back during the Great Depression of people committing suicide because of financial stress. I recently heard a story where that happened just recently. When we lose control of our life and we don't know how to straighten it out, to come back to have a sense that God is with us and that we find hope of new beginning in God. You see, sometimes we get to the place where we've done everything we can to salvage our lives, to find the new start. And it just seems so hard to keep going. That it feels like it would be so easy to quit, to surrender, to give in. And it takes so much energy to keep going. The message of Christmas is that God is with us. And that we can find a sense of joy even when our circumstances seem unbearable. That's part of the answer. On a personal level, we have whatever sense of spirit we have. And in the Christian tradition, the one we celebrate tonight, it is in the presence of Christ. And I would guess that if you chose to, you could open yourself to that presence tonight and find a sense of joy, of peace. The Hindus say that bliss is our conscious contact with Brahman. And the Buddha said that we find joy in the sweetness of surrender to the way. But a practical way that you and I often find joy is in giving. I used to be a therapist. And I remember that there was one lady that was so deeply depressed that she just couldn't change her thinking. And so I had her each week to do one good thing for someone else. And then in a week, 2 good things. And then 3 good things. And up to doing 1 good thing for someone else each day. And this woman was able to change her life. Do you remember the story of St. Nicholas? St. Nicholas was a real person, lived in Turkey. He was very wealthy. He inherited lots of money from his family. And they had taught him to be a very devout Christian. And so St. Nicholas spent most of his life giving his money away. And one of the stories, true or false, I don't know, but one of the stories is that there was a very poor family that had 3 daughters. And they had no money for a dowry, something that you kind of give to the husband. That makes a lot of sense to me, to tell you the truth. But they had no dowry. And so these girls were basically going to be sold into slavery for all practical sense. And when the oldest was close to that time, there was mysteriously a bag of gold, a small bag I guess, but a bag of gold thrown in the window onto the floor close to the fireplace, there where they had their socks and shoes. And in the morning they came and found the gold coins scattered in the socks and shoes. And this happened 3 times with each of the daughters. Good story. Good giving. But another story that may or may not be true is that of a teenager, had Down syndrome, didn't feel very good about himself, and he was a bagger in a grocery store. And he wanted to do something meaningful in his life, but he didn't know what to do. And somebody, or somewhere, he got the idea that he would come up with one good thought a day. And so he knew he wasn't the brightest person in the world, but he was going to come up with one good thought a day. And he started writing that thought down. And he got his dad to help him to copy that one good thought. So every night he would go home and copy that one good thought down. And the next day when he was the bagger at the checkout place, he would slip one of those pieces of paper into the person's grocery bag. And as time went on, more and more people were willing to wait to get in line to go out his line because they wanted that thought. It doesn't matter how smart we are. It doesn't matter how rich or poor we are. We can all be equally generous, no matter how much money we have. For generosity is a thing of the heart. And we can each give as best we can of what we have. Christmas and life is about giving. What would it really take to make you happy?